Hello and welcome back to another video. If you're new to sim racing, one of the questions you will undoubtedly have alongside what wheel and pedals to use is what game to get. From iRacing to Assetto Corsa and Gran Turismo to the F1 games, there is a wide variety of choices of which there is a correct answer, but it's not a universal answer, it's an individual one. So in this video we shall go through the options and explain the differences so that you can make an informed decision on what is right for you. Let's kick off with another question, and that is, what is your goal? Not everybody partakes in sim racing for the same reasons. Some enjoy realistic racing, some prefer doing hot laps or driving with varying car track combinations, and others just want to have a bit of fun. So if we split this down into 3 separate categories, we should begin at this end of the scale with the more fun titles. Games like F1, Gran Turismo and the like are ideal for the more casual players and a great entry point for novices. Their physics are often forgivable to small mistakes, they offer a good variety of online and offline activities or challenges, but there is also a degree of realism for those drivers wanting to take it a little more seriously. Gran Turismo has been an industry leader since the first edition in 1997. The game has always been able to toe the line between realism and fun, from the fun activities like the music rally right up to qualifying for the eSport Olympics. Gran Turismo is a title in which you can start as a complete novice and go right up to the professional level without ever changing the game. The biggest downside to this game is that it's only available on the PlayStation platform, so if you use a PC or Xbox then you're out of luck. However, that's not so much an issue for one of the other leaders in this fun category, the F1 series. As Formula 1 has grown in popularity, the game has gained more diverse activities. You can now go through your own career mode as a driver, as team owner and driver, or even the dramatised storyline of Breaking Point, which sees a young driver coming through the ranks. F1 simulation has got significantly better as the years have gone by, however, it is not as realistic as many other titles in the genre. The game is great for beginners with an interest in the sport. You can set your assist to ease you into the game before finding your groove. When you're ready to race against real people, you have a few options. F1 has ranked lobbies, great, over time you get quicker and race against skill-matched drivers. F1 has league racing, great, if you're good, you may even find yourself qualifying for F1 eSports. However, the third option is F1 Open Lobbies. Now, really the less said about F1 Open Lobbies the better, but to put it bluntly, it's usually a demolition derby. Now, moving on to the games with more variety. You have R-Factor and Race Room, which are both great simulations with a multitude of cars and tracks, but the best game from this category is arguably Assetto Corsa. The game is almost 10 years old now, but there is a huge community of passionate Assetto Corsa users. With Assetto Corsa, yes, you have the online racing, the challenges, your career mode and such, but it is far more serious than the games we've looked at so far. Well, it began that way anyway. The game started out as a true-to-life experience with realistic physics and graphics. However, the game has been adopted by modders. You see, Assetto Corsa offers easy integration of installable mods, whether you want additional cars, additional tracks, or just to add new skins to existing content. It is extremely easy, even for the technophobes among us. Assetto Corsa is an ideal game for hot lapping. You can pick your preferred car track combination and, with a realistic driving experience, is almost as close to the real thing as you can get. You can also use Track Titan to provide the telemetry of your laps, allowing you to analyse where you can gain time. On the less serious side, with those mods we mentioned, you can also drive some, well, let's say interesting vehicles. Now, if so far you're thinking, hey, looks great, but it's not really got the serious competition element that I'm looking for, well then don't worry, we've got you covered, because there are 2 games that will cater to your needs. Let's start with Assetto Corsa. The follow-up game, which could also be argued is more of a sidestep than a follow-up, is called Assetto Corsa Competizione, or ACC for short. While the first edition was a very modifiable title with plenty of downloads available to supersize your track and car libraries, ACC is exactly the opposite. It's the official game of the GT World Challenge series and focuses solely on GT cars. Think of it as what F1 23 is to Formula 1. ACC is exactly that to the GT World Challenge series. However, building upon their first release, the Assetto Corsa Competizione physics and graphics are top tier. You feel every bump, curb and blade of grass you run over. You can feel the car through your feet when you accelerate and brake. It's almost surreal. Then you have the online community. While the modders are limited to just making skins for ACC, you have organised championships, esports and just normal open lobbies. Finally, we have iRacing. Now, if you have access to the internet and even a whiff of a search history of virtual racing, then this is probably not the first time you've heard of iRacing. It bridges the gap between the virtual and real worlds with the way the developers have moulded the game. Just like in real life, you have to take part in series, gain experience and speed to qualify for higher licenses. However, this tiered system is based off your speed and safety rating. Speed is pretty self-explanatory, but the safety rating is built upon incident points. The more you get, the lower your safety rating will be. This is real racing. It's perhaps better to think of iRacing as a league than a game. While other games have the league feature, none of them are just a league in themselves, whereas iRacing kind of is. You'd only drive on there if you are serious about racing and want to be a genuine competitor. So, now we know the categories and the games within, let's review how each is suited to different drivers. First up, if you are a total beginner and want to dip your toe in the water, you could just go ahead and ignore the top two categories. F1 is a nice entry into racing. Its user-friendly interface helps rookies get to grips with everything associated with driving, including assists, setup and general track behaviour. Gran Turismo is also a great beginner's game, allowing you to develop and hone your skills in a multitude of different cars and tracks, whilst offering customisable cars to allow personalisation. Both are good options. A more casual driver would probably enjoy F1 more, as there is more of a story to follow and you can race against AI names you recognise. There are also options within the same game if you want to get slightly more serious too. If you're a beginner or have some slight experience and want to test yourself, then Gran Turismo offers an excellent online racing community and that might be a better fit for you. Now, let's say you're not a beginner. You want to get a little bit more serious. What is the right path for you? Well, firstly, as we mentioned at the start of this video, it's all about what you want out of it. If you enjoy hot lapping, trying out weird and wonderful car track combinations, and just want to focus on lap times, then Assetto Corsa is going to be the ideal title for you. However, if you want to seriously race, then we have these two options. So, Assetto Corsa Competizione is perfect for those longing for a realistic GT experience. It's a steep learning curve for less experienced drivers, but the feel is as close to the real thing as you can get without going and stealing a real race car. iRacing, as mentioned before, is like a league. With so many different categories, it seems like the obvious choice. However, only a fraction of these come with the game. You pay a subscription, and if you want additional cars or tracks, then you have to purchase them separately. So with iRacing, it's entirely based on how serious you are. If you want to put the time, effort, and more importantly money into it, you have the opportunity to take part in some of the biggest virtual racing events in the world. Now, there is one big advantage to a few of these titles when you want to get a little bit more serious about your competition. On both Assetto Corsas, iRacing, F123 and more, you can analyse your telemetry for free in the Track Titan platform. If you are struggling to see how others are going quicker, then the app will not only show your telemetry, but also give you insights into why you're losing speed and what to do differently. So there are pros and cons to every game, but at the end of the day, it's based on personal preference. But now you know your options, and more importantly, the differences between them, you should be able to go away and make an informed decision on which is right for you. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, why not hit the like button, as it really helps us figure out what content our audience wants to see. But until next time, have fun, and as always, race with respect.